Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean woman that is staying and working here in South Africa. So I have my boss's nephew that has come to me. He recently came out of prison, and this is what he is saying to me. Since his uncle has a lot of money and his uncle is very sick, he can't even get out of bed as we are talking right now. So he said that this can be an opportunity for him to make money. He was saying that he has already spoken with a fake traditional healer, but who is a magician who can make things happen, and that man has charged him 200k and he is going to get 200k, and he is saying that if I assist him to convince my boss to accompany me to Zim so that we can go and see that traditional healer so that he can be cured, the money that I'm going to be given from the 500k that he said he knows that his uncle has in the savings and he can use it to get cured because he is in a lot of pain, I'm going to be given 100k. I need advice from your listeners. Is this an opportunity that I will never find in my entire life? I have since spoken with the Zim traditional healer and he has told me everything that is going to happen. A fake miracle is going to be okay. The doctors will say that the cancer is gone, but it will be magic. Soon after that, my boss is going to die. He has told me that if I can't assist him, he will look for someone else to go with to Zim. He just told me this because he trusts me since I have worked for his uncle for a long time. I am even afraid of him because he was arrested and he came out of prison. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us give her advice in the comment section. She was saying that she has never had such an opportunity to make so much money in South Africa. So must she just forget about this? Then there is another message that was sent to me by our brother, and it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? I have my own short confession. Whenever it is December, I hate December because of what happened in the year 2017. And this year, we are supposed to go KwaGutum. That is the village where my wife comes from and their parents are based in Gutum. So whenever we go there, I feel embarrassed because of the things that happened in the year 2017. What happened on that day, brother, was that I had bought some gas bottles for my mother-in-law as well as some groceries that I was supposed to take them with me from Harare and go and give them. My wife had told me that she could not accompany me to go to the villages because she was not feeling okay. So in the morning, we went to Highfields where we played some soccer. And after we had played soccer, that was when we went to this other restaurant. You know, those restaurants that are by the side of the road. We ate some soft porridge there, and after that I then went home and I prepared. My wife, she made tea and scones for me. Along the way, that was when I bought some fruits to eat and I was just mixing food. By the time that I was close to her village, I felt that I was having diarrhea, but whenever I would stop my vehicle and go into the bushes so as to relieve myself, nothing would come out. All that I was doing was that I was farting non-stop. So I said I'll do it later after I would have arrived at my wife's village. When I arrived, I found out that her brother was not there, including my father-in-law. It was only my mother-in-law that was there. It was her and her granddaughters. So then she told me that she had already prepared a room for me, which I was supposed to sleep in. The next morning, she woke me up and she said that she had made some breakfast for me. So the tea was there, including bread as well as sweet potatoes that she had prepared for me. So then I started eating. As I was eating, at first I was sitting on the bench. We were seated inside the mud hut, which they used as a kitchen. And as I was sitting on the bench, I said that I can't fart properly like this. So I then sat on the floor close to the door. I'll pretend as if I'm just shifting or lifting my leg just a little bit so that the fart can come out really slowly, and that is what I would do each and every time. When I would do it, I will pretend to listen to all of the stories that she was telling me. Then I will lift my buttocks just a little bit. Then I'll be like, just a little bit silently. And since I was seated close to the door, then nothing will be smelling because it was a bit windy. So then I said, this is the final one, because I felt that there was something that was in my stomach, like a lot of constipation. So then I started really slowly. I was like a little bit by little bit, and there was no smell at all. That was when all of a sudden I just let it out. The release valve, it opened by force, and I made a big sound like and my mother-in-law, she looked at me and she just asked me if I was okay. Then it started to get really smelly, and then I told her that I had messed myself up. I was having diarrhea. She said, it's okay, my son, do not be ashamed. You can go and you can clean yourself up. I could not even stand up because my trousers, it was all messed up and it was smelly. She rushed outside. She went to that room which I had slept the previous night. She grabbed a blanket. She then gave that blanket to me, and I wrapped myself whilst I was sitting there. I had to roll myself inside that blanket because I was embarrassed to stand up. I woke up from where I was sleeping, and then I started walking slowly. And then I went to the bathroom. She had already prepared some water for me to bath, and I washed the clothes that I was wearing. When I came out of the bathroom, I saw him. She was seated outside the mud hut, and she was looking at me. She asked me if I was okay. She said, "Are you okay, my son?" And I just responded quietly. I was really embarrassed. I then lied to my mother-in-law that I wanted to go and buy something by the shops. I got into my vehicle and I did not even return. I drove all the way to Harare, and when I arrived in the city, my wife, she was waiting and she was laughing at me because of what had happened. And now whenever we have to go and visit her parents, I always feel embarrassed because of what I did. But my wife, she says that it really does not even matter for things like that. They do happen. So this is my own confession, Brother Nashim, of what happened in the year 2017. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you wish to share with us, please do not hesitate to come to our inbox, and then you share with us your confession, and we'll post it here on our channel. Then there is another message that I want to share with you, and it goes on like this. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? There is a satanic temple in Durban, and it is just a normal house. I was taken to that satanic temple, and I thought that it was just a business party. I'm a South African woman, aged 38 years old. Please do not mention my name. As you can see, I have used my original Facebook account. I don't do ghost accounts, so I would appreciate it if you do not say my name. So I work in facilities management, And this is the story that I have been carrying around in my heart since the year 2020 during COVID. A story that changed the way that I look at how people do businesses, even success. It is not what you think. Success, it is all about you having connections with people that have money. I never believed in satanic things. I never believed that people can sell their souls. I never believed in all of these secret parties. I never thought that they were real until the night when I attended one secret party. So I was given a contract that ended up changing my life. In 2020, my company, we were fighting for a huge tender so that we can have our company doing cleaning services for a mall, only one mall. I never thought that I'll end up having and securing 5 malls which my company cleans across South Africa. And this one mall, it was going to become something that will change my life, but I ended up with this biggest contract that we had ever aimed for. During COVID, business was slow, there was no money, and staff was crying, and we needed a contract. When we won, I thought that it was God's blessing. Then I was called by one of the director. It is a director for one of the mall, and we were invited to Durban for a celebration meeting. Only about 30 business people were invited. I felt really small because this was the start. I had never been to such a big business meeting. We met at Mhlanga. I just changed the name of the business briefing so that people won't know. Everything was normal, and then we were taken to a private after party, and only the special people were going to be invited, and I was given a small black card with no writing. It just had an M that was written. It was an M symbol that was written in gold, and inside that M there was a little M that was inside. You could only see it after you would have looked closely, and I accepted that black card, which would help me to enter into that gated community. For the venue was not a hotel, not a conference center. It was a normal house in a very expensive gated community. When I arrived there, like, it just felt so wrong because there were candles and the lights had been dimmed, so there were candles everywhere, and people, they wore masks, not your COVID mask, no, you know, those black masquerade masks. They were the ones that they were wearing. It even later reminded me of the movie, if you know it, that is called Eyes Wide Shut. And I even joked in my head, and I was like, oh, so now I am attending cult parties, business. And what I saw on that night, it still shakes me to this very day. My husband does not even know about this. So before entering the lounge, there was a woman, a white woman. She looked white but Indian at the same time. She wore a see-through red dress, and she said, "Your phone off, no photos, no names, nothing." She was very friendly, and inside they were business owners, CEOs, directors, managers, and to my surprise, everyone was drinking, kissing, touching other. Even though these people, it was obvious, like myself, we had left our partners back home, and people were forgetting themselves, removing their clothes, sleeping everywhere. It was like an orgy. It was wild. It was satanic. But no one forced me to do anything. When I drank the wine that tasted like blood, that was when one white guy came close to me and he said, "Come, let me show you something. I've been watching you for a long time," because I was the only one that was still dressed, but I was getting tipsy and I was feeling like I needed to make love to a man. He took me to another room inside that very same house. I saw that there was a big mirror, and in front of the mirror there was a bowl that was on top of this other statue of Baphomet. And on top of Baphomet, there was a bowl that contained black water, and I saw candles that were shaped like people and a red cloth that was on the floor. He then told me that this is our temple room. Now that you have entered here, if you want any contract from my company, he said so, as he said that he was going to give me his business card. He later awarded us a contract, and my company right now, it is also doing garden services at this other estate in Durban. So because of I made love to him, he told me that it was all about worshipping the creature that I was looking at, who is Baphomet. We then returned back to the lounge area. He then laid me on the couch. I was so nervous. It was the first time really cheating on my husband, and cheating on my husband with a white man. When we were sleeping together, all the people that were there, they stopped their orgies. They came and they surrounded the couch. As we made love, they were looking at us, and some of them, they were even pouring the wine on top of us like it was dirty, as if we were pigs. When I say that we were making love, it is just that it is hard to explain. The whole room, it was filthy and it was smelling, it was just demonic. Some of the women, they were drunk, crawling on the floor, crying and laughing at the same time, as if everyone was being possessed with a demon. I even started laughing after that man had ejaculated inside of me. I was laughing because I just thought, what will happen now if it happens that this man has impregnated me? What will I say to my husband? So a thought crossed my mind, and I said, it's obvious I will be forced to have an abortion. The moment that I said abortion, it's like all the people in the room, they heard me, and then they started to laugh, but it was a demonic laughter. It was like they were celebrating all of those women that lose their pregnancies through miscarriages and abortions. It was so weird. And then a mirror was brought into that same lounge, and then there was a small table that was brought. It was a small table. In order for you to eat at the table, you could only eat whilst you were sitting down. There were small silver bowls that were placed in front of us. All of us, we had to eat snails. I had never eaten a snail in my entire life, let alone a live one. But on that night, I ended up eating a live snail, and when I started chewing it, it was so sweet. I don't know how to exactly explain the taste of that snail to you, but it was as if I was eating a chicken, the way that it was so tasty. And when it was in the morning, then I bathed myself. A car came and picked me up, and I went to the hotel. My husband called me, and I told him that after the party, I had drank some whiskey and I had hit the bed early, and I was having a terrible headache. So since my husband trusted me, he never even thought that the whole night I was involved in an orgy with those people that were strangers to me. From that day going onwards, when I hear about people talking about success, I just laugh at them and I say, why don't you just tell the truth that without a push, without joining these cults, it is impossible for other people to make it to the same level that you have made it. It is not easy to be awarded all of these contracts just for free. I had to sell my soul to Baphomet. I do not worship like the devil, the way that you think that all the people that would have sold their soul will do. I live a normal life. I go to church. It is just that I had to buy an idol. You won't believe this when I tell you, but this idol that I have, guess where it came from? It has a Latin engraving. It was made in Italy, in Rome. That was where this Baphomet that I had to buy before I signed the contract, I had to pull out 300k from my account just to buy that idol. And I think that this money, it was taken straight to the Roman Catholic Church. That is the deal that I did in order for me to start working. I keep it, and I was told that my husband is not supposed to come across this Baphomet creature. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister, who is saying that she bought a necklace. She said that it just looks like a normal rosary that and it does not have a cross, but it has the symbol of Baphomet, and it has a Latin engraving. It was made in Rome. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. If you have any secret that you want to share with us, please do not hesitate to reach out to us.